New tonight, a push to keep children safe from human trafficking. A bill working its way through the State House targets people who target young children and people with developmental disabilities for human trafficking.
10 TV political reporter Doug Petcash explains what this bill would do.
The Ohio Domestic Violence Network has 77 member organizations around the state that see domestic violence in all its forms. That includes the trafficking of kids for sex or labor.
The reality is the vast majority of people, especially minors, are trafficked by family members. It's a familial crime. People trade their children to meet other needs, to pay their rent, to get money. That's the reality of it.
When I started looking at research and rankings, Ohio is ranked 5th worst state in the country for human trafficking. And I sat back and I said, we've got to try to do something about this.
What State Representative Nick Santucci and his co-sponsor, Representative Josh Williams, did was introduce House Bill 47, the Human Trafficking Prevention Act. It aims to increase the penalty for human trafficking of children under 13 and those with developmental disabilities, as well as for kidnapping and abduction. Charges would be made harsher, and the sentences would be increased to 15 or even 25 years to life in prison for the criminals caught and convicted.
And we did that very intentionally because we wanted to send a very clear signal that anybody that's in the state currently or anybody that's thinking on coming into Ohio to participate in these types of activities, you're not welcome here.
Lisa DeGeeter with the Ohio Domestic Violence Network testified in committee in favor of the bill back in April. It ultimately passed unanimously in the House by a vote of 93-0.
It's marvelous that the legislature takes this seriously and is working to make sure that offenders are held accountable, but we would love to see that age limit extended again so that more people can be protected.
She's referring to an amendment to the bill that lowered the age of victims covered by the legislation to under 13. In the original bill, the age was up to 17 years old. DeGeeter hopes the Senate will restore the higher age.
We know that the average entry into human trafficking is 11 or 12 years old. So we know that we've got 13, 14, 15-year-olds in Ohio who are experiencing this.
Representative Santucci says he is open to changes in the bill, but it's now up to the Senate. He says the legislation targets a piece of a huge issue, and he plans to work on more human trafficking bills.
My end game, Doug, is to get human trafficking legislation passed, period. If it helps a small population right now, that to me is a step in the right direction and a win for solving the problem.
In Columbus, Doug Petcash, 10 TV News.
Doug, thank you. The Human Trafficking Prevention Act is now in the Senate Judiciary Committee. The General Assembly is scheduled to be back to work in mid-September. If you or anyone you know is experiencing human trafficking, call the number on your screen anytime, day or night, 888-373-7888.